challenge, I'll call it.
28 followers active on the book.
Okay.
What's up, y'all? On the gram.
Active and actually watching?
Active, not yet.
Active, okay.
Potential.
Potential, I know. I don't think I have any on my
Okay.
It's all good. You know in a sec.
I know, this
need
is
to
going to build
steal
up.
that video from you to post on my page.
Yeah, because it's a nice different angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I haven't posted us on my personal Insta at Dr. Itty Bitty Becky. Okay, it's at Dr. _ ITTY BITTYBEECKY.
B-I-N-G-O, and Bingo was his name. Oh.
Hey.
Da, 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 ha.
And then we have at BUBBA _ DASTACHE on Instagram.
Bubba the Stash.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so follow, holla.
Oh, and Bubba's going to make his debut this week.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Wednesday.
You know, I'm always gone on the weekends and I come back to news galore. So this is news.
This
to
is
me.
news. Hey, Doc, what do you say we start the show, huh?
I suppose we can do that if you're down.
I'm down.
All right,
Let's do it.
go. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 13 of The Feels. I'm Dr. Bex, back from MLK Day. Thank you for your patience. And with me, as always, is our own canna connoisseur, Jeff Rowse. Today on The Feels, it's time for a medicine cabinet makeover, y'all.
Ooh.
Yeah, more than 131 million people, that is 66% of all adults in the United States, use pharmaceutical drugs, and they're taking more than ever.
Those who use scripts take 4 different pills on average. They may also take over-the-counter drugs, vitamins, and other dietary supplements. It's a full medicine cabinet. Pharmaceutical use is particularly high for older people and those with chronic conditions. Those scripts are costly too. Americans spend more on prescription drugs than anyone else in the world. Average costs are about $1,200 per person per year. It's a lot of pills.
It's also true that we can reduce the amount of pharmaceuticals we consume. 49% of regular pharmaceutical drug users ask their prescribers whether they can stop taking a drug, and guess what? 71% were able to eliminate at least one.
Nice.
Yeah. Ellen Kunes, leader of Consumer Reports Health and Food Content Development Team, said, quote, "We can see that when consumers ask if they can stop taking at least one of their medications, in the majority of cases, their doctors agree," end quote.
Coincidentally, in 2018, 67% of doctors were in favor of using cannabis for medical purposes, and a whopping 85% of American adults approve of medical cannabis use. That steep statistic likely holds true simply for the fact that, growingly known to all, the therapeutic properties of cannabis are nearly infinite as more and more are discovered each day.
It is both factual and evidence-based that cannabis helps with physical health, mental health, and disease treatment and prevention. In terms of physical health, it is a pain reliever or analgesic. It reduces inflammation that can cause pain. It relieves muscle spasms. It reduces convulsions. What can't cannabis do?
I'm having a hard time figuring that out. In terms of mental health, cannabis is an antidepressant and an anxiolytic. That means it reduces depression and anxiety. Cannabis is an anti-insomnia agent and a psychotropic in some instances. That means it produces a high.
Lastly, in terms of disease treatment and prevention, it is an antibacterial agent and an antioxidant. Cannabis functions as an anti-epileptic and an anti-proliferative, meaning it prevents the spread of harmful cells. It also is an antioxidant that protects the body from the free radicals that destroy cells.
And lastly, cannabis acts as a neuroprotectant. That means it protects our nervous system. Cannabis can also relieve symptoms associated with HIV/AIDS, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, Crohn's disease, epilepsy, glaucoma, to name a very few.
Very few. Now, the use of medical cannabis is increasing, most commonly for pain, anxiety, and depression. Emerging data suggests that use and abuse of pharmaceutical drugs may be decreasing in states where medical cannabis is legal. In 2017, a cross-sectional study conducted in Washington state surveyed a couple thousand cannabis users. They wanted to determine whether participants had intentionally substituted cannabis for pharmaceutical drugs.
Their findings revealed that 46% of participants indeed had substituted, and that was 5 years ago. Do you know how the popularity of cannabis has gained since then? Just imagine how many people now have made the big switch to cannabis for relief. The most common classes of drugs substituted were narcotics or opioids, anxiolytics or benzodiazepines, and antidepressants.
In the 2020 Department of Health and Senior Services 2020 annual report on the medical marijuana program, 30% of the 69,393 Missourians that got their medical card last year did so to help relieve themselves of a physical or psychological dependence on pharmaceuticals. You can expect that number to grow in next year's report.
69,393. Wow.
30% of that.
Cannabis and pharmaceuticals have a cornucopia of similarities too. Those same exact previously mentioned therapeutic properties, ranging from analgesics to anxiolytics, are exhibited in prescribed pharmaceuticals. Where they differ, however, in that cannabis is commonly becoming seen as the lesser of quote-unquote two evils.
Take narcotics or opioids, for example. The studies I've read indicate that cannabis may be a viable tool in targeting the adverse effects of opioid use. Some American states have recently modified their medical cannabis laws by allowing patients to substitute their prescribed opioids with medical cannabis. What this means is that the medical value of cannabis appears to be based not only on what cannabis is, but also on what cannabis is not.
This perception has been described in a qualitative study of physicians in Israel, where cannabis was presented as a justified treatment option as the quote-unquote the lesser of two evils. They presented this by emphasizing problems in standard medications.
Whoa, Jeff. So, we've been talking for what, 3 pages now?
About that, 3.
Yep, I guess it's time to join the wave of all these studies we've discussed and flip our pharmaceuticals into cannabis. It's time for my infamous medicine cabinet makeover.
Take it away, Doc.
We cannot start this medicine cabinet makeover segment without first talking about the magical Blue Dream from Flora Farms, currently in stock here at Feel State Florissant, conveniently. Now, you can switch out a pharmaceutical or two for Blue Dream. Take pain medication as our first example. Consider swapping out your NSAIDs like aspirin or ibuprofen. That's because Blue Dream has terpenes like myrcene and pinene, which have wonderful anti-inflammatory properties.
Not to mention cannabinoids like THC and CBD. Both help with aching joints and swollen muscles. And as we all know, the only thing we want to swell is the love in our hearts. So, get down here quick, because our patients already knew about Blue Dream way before we told you, and we have limited quantities left. In fact, I checked before we went live. We have exactly 2/8 left.
Oh, right. Hurry, 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 y'all. Now, there are many, many Missourians wanting to wean themselves off of opioids. Cannabis could be a good replacement because of its analgesic or pain-relieving properties. So, switch on over to Bubba Fett, Granddaddy Perp, or any chemovar with terpenes such as linalool, limonene, beta-caryophyllene, or myrcene. Also, those muscle relaxants in your medicine cabinet can be swapped out, as cannabis is effective for making spasticity and stiffness more tolerable.
Doc, I can tell our viewers from personal experience that cannabis can also be considered as a swap out for sleeping pills. Now, I never took sleeping pills. I don't take any over-the-counter medications. But cannabis, when consumed in certain quantities, can make me sleepy. like really sleepy. Chemovars with the terpenes myrcene, linalool, and nerolidol should have some nicely sedating properties to them. You would definitely want to consider taking Illicit's creams for a whirl.
Or if smoking isn't your thing, we do have Vivid Dream capsules here at Feel State Florissant. Each capsule has 10 milligrams of THC and 10 milligrams of CBN. And as we've discussed on past episodes of the Feels, CBN, when combined with THC, produce a sleepier effect than either on their own. That's why we also have nighttime robots. Each piece contains 10 milligrams of THC and 20 milligrams of CBN.
This is a good time to add that cold medications can also be swapped out from medicine cabinets, as they're quite common. Now, I completely messed that one up. Let's start over. This is a good time to add that cold medications are common amongst medicine cabinets and can be commonly swapped out for cannabis products as it combats some symptoms related to colds. Now, around about a month ago or so, I got the flu. And since I didn't want to smoke, for 3 days I nursed a bottle of Keef 200 milligram kiwi strawberry non-carbonated beverage. And it was all I needed to remain comfortable all weekend.
Wow, you're blessed.
You know.
If you're feeling nauseous, y'all, perhaps replace that big bottle of pink Pepto-Bismol or box of Alka-Seltzer with a Wink 1-to-1 ratioed seltzer. Each seltzer has 5 milligrams of THC and 5 milligrams of CBD. Both cannabinoids are known antiemetics, but if the bubbles are too much, which can happen, then flower will do the trick. A recent University of New Mexico study confirmed that cannabis, when smoked or vaped, resulted in, quote, an average symptom improvement of nearly 4 points on a 0 to 10 scale just moments after consumption, with increasing benefits over time, end quote.
Wow. Now, ladies, I want you to think about it. You could supplement Pond's cold cream with a men's 1-to-1-to-1 ratioed lotion. The CBC acts as a cellular regenerator, helping to tighten the skin after you've removed your makeup. And the THC and CBD have the potential to help with acne due to their anti-inflammatory properties. So you might be able to clear some cabinet space by saying goodbye to your acne cream.
All right, Jeff, stop talking to me, okay? We get it. Gosh, guys, I promise you I look good. The news has been alive with 2 stories about cannabis being able to prevent COVID. In one, researchers from Oregon State University showed via a chemical screening technique that CBGA and CBDA bind to the COVID spike protein and block a critical step in the process the virus uses to infect people. Now, smoking flower or vaping would not, I repeat, would not be the correct ingestion method. Why? Because the acidic forms of the cannabinoids are needed.
Now, the other story broke 4 days ago when researchers published a paper claiming CBD prevented the spread of COVID in mice by blocking the ability of COVID to replicate itself after infecting a host. Now, we here at the Feels are by no means suggesting you throw away your home COVID testing kits, wear or don't wear a mask, or get or don't get vaccinated. We are simply informing you of 2 recent news stories that have gotten the cannabis community very excited.
Like hyped up, okay? So, in fact, this episode of The Feels is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as medical advice.
Yes.
If there are medications you want to stop using, please consult your doctor or physician first. Pharmaceuticals, when on a continued regimen and suddenly discontinued, can be a danger to your health. So be careful, y'all.
All right. I think we've dropped enough knowledge for one night, Doc. What do you think?
No, I'm
Why
done.
don't we go to
I'm
our
done. Drops mic, okay?
Why don't we go to our producer Nick to see if we have any questions from our audience? And while he's looking, I want to say a shout out to Galve. Thank you very much for joining. This is my first live on my own Instagram. I am new to the social media world. So
Baby's first live.
baby steps, baby steps. Thanks for checking in, Galvin. And yes, I can give him a wave just like that.
yay.
Look at that. Okay.
What's favorite product on the shelf right now?
Favorite product on the shelf, Doc? Why don't you go first?
All right, Miss Dr. Bex's favorite product right now might have to be. Okay, confession. I just started smoking back today. I took a little tea break recently. Okay, y'all. So this is a tough answer because I am on one. Maybe or maybe not. So
You should have seen it 2 hours ago.
Okay, let's answer the question here now. Okay, Mandarin Cookies by SafeBet. I had their little threefers, and because I didn't need any more than that as a newcomer, a newbie here on the block again. I just needed a baby little, hit or two, and I, like I said, may or may not be on one.
My favorite product is new to the shop. It's Lush Labs. They are out in Kansas City. They're kind of our second cousins in that they are very closely associated with the Kansas City's Feel State. And we got some of their pre-rolls in. We got some of their live rosin. Yes, not resin, rosin with an O. So this is solventless product. I tried the Neo Mints. Delicious. I also tried the Neo Mints 5-pack of 0.7 gram pre-rolls. Very tasty, very flavorful, and kept me up and going in addition to this cup of coffee right here for our live broadcast tonight.
All right, cheers to that.
Yes, indeed.
Any other questions out there?
What's coming up next couple weeks?
What's coming up in the next couple of weeks? Well, next week we are going to be discussing. Did I not put it at the end? Yes, there it is, right there. We're going to be discussing specific ailments in the chemovars that might help provide relief. So it's going to be a little similar to this, but we're going to get specific in various ailments and chemovars that can help.
Yes, audience. So if there are particular disease states that you would like us to cover on this episode, feel free to drop those in the comments. It can either be during this live segment or when you're watching this way after our live segment here on Monday at 5:30. So just drop a comment with us about which topic you would like us to cover, which ailment, and we got you next week. We can't wait to do it. We love research. Okay, maybe I shouldn't tell them that because then they think we're not cool.
We got one more question here, Doc.
Best Buds STL wants to know what's the difference between rosin and resin.
Okay, rosin is a solventless method of production. Usually it involves taking a good amount of buds, putting it between parchment paper, and then pressing it together in a heat press. So the heat leaches out all of the cannabinoids and you scrape it up off the parchment paper. Resin is where they actually use solvents. Now that can be CO2, that can be butane, ethanol, other petrochemical types of extraction. Some people feel that the petrochemical version does a better job at extracting the terpenes, thereby making the products more flavorful. The live rosin people like that because there are no solvents, there are no traces left, even though all products are tested within safe levels of whatever residuals are left in there.
Of course, and we have the COAs to back it up. That's the Certificate of Analysis.
Thank you. I can never remember analysis. All right, a couple more things before we wrap this up. I wanted to give a shout out to Kristen Williams from Hempsley.com for all of the awesome job and hard work that she does. If you go to our blog at myfeelstate.com, you're going to see the first couple of episodes of the Feels. And even though the system we use won't let us show the video, you can link to it on YouTube, but she provided not only the entire transcript, but a sort of time-coded list of the topics we are talking about. So if you want to jump around in the video, you can feel free to do that.
So cool.
And you want to give the last shout out to team?
Oh, the very last but not very least is our shout out to the Emergency Assistance Ministry. Thank you for not only partnering with us at Feel State, for choosing us rather, thank you for giving this community an opportunity to show who Florissant is, which is a giving community, and we appreciate this time to make us look like angels while you guys are the angels yourselves. So this is the last week that we are collecting goods here at
That's right, ends
Feel
in
State
January.
Florissant. So come on, let's show ourselves approved.
Bring down some non-perishable items for the
Yes.
people of St. Louis County.
Be
Team
those
does a
angels I
wonderful
know
job.
you are, you listeners and viewers.
All right. We're going to wrap it up again next week. We're going to talk about specific ailments and the team of ours that might provide help. Thank you to everybody out there, Facebook, Instagram, for tuning in. We love you all. Peace.
Another one.